Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Yo Kids podcast. Before we get started, be sure to check out homeschoolyokidsexpo.com. We still have a couple of traveling dates left. By the time this published, we probably will not. I'm not going to hold you. It will probably be over. But check out our resources because we definitely have a plethora of those on our website. And also remember, homeschooling was never meant to be done alone. It takes a village. So major shout out to a couple of our sponsors that are mission to ensure that you are supported. So Classical Conversations is a nationwide curriculum provider. If you're in the homeschool world, I know you heard of CC because they are everywhere. They not only offer curriculum, but they also offer community support. So check them out. And Basecamp is an amazing free new app. It just released in February and they encourage community building. They have resources galore. They have community around you. It's like a Zillow, but for homeschoolers. It's like, they're in my area and you can see how many kids they have and all that stuff. But check it out. It's cool. Um, and today we have with us Paloma and Joelle. How did I do? All right. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Paloma. I was a former teacher and then decided not to be in the classroom as well, and noticed that parent resources are a thing that the parents need more of, especially being a bilingual teacher and bilingual Spanish speaking families. I encountered that they need more information. So that's how one of the reasons we came around and started this company.
And my name's Joelle Antonio Rivera Treviño Santana Octubre, all of it. And my background is as well in education. I've also developed a number of programs for a state, county, and federal level, working with parents and schools. And so I used to also teach child development. My background psychology. So I truly have a passion for that. I homeschool my kids as well, my child. So I wanted him to be out of the traditional schooling and really saw the value and the impact that can have. And I encourage a lot of parents to do as well, as far as finding what works with their children and stuff like that. So, we are in love with trying to create programs and resources for families out there trying to do the same thing.
Nice. How do we get on this journey? How do you decide, okay, you know what, we're going to homeschool and we're going to create things for homeschoolers? How do we get here?
For me, I work, like I said, I was a former teacher. I taught in a private schools, Montessori. I'm certified Montessori as well, and in public schools. And my heart, when I got the opportunity to teach in public schools, I had the opportunity to go either to a better school or low-income school. So I always pick my low-income kids because that's where they needed me most. But then again, we have resources, we have training for teachers, but really we don't have those things for parents. Even the family engagement for families in schools, especially public school, it's not how it used to be anymore. So we want to bring that back. And even if it's not in a school setting, we need still those engagement, parent-teacher involvement or parent-child involvement at home in homeschooling as well.
Yeah. What about you, Joelle? How did you escape the the standard? How did you get out of that box and was like, you know what, I'm going to homeschool my kids?
Well, what happened with me was that my child, extremely smart in the spectrum, so had a challenging time, especially when it came to certain things and fitting in the box. They had their first business when they were like 5 years old. We used to put together community events and stuff like that, and they wanted to sell their artwork and stuff like that. And then when they were 8, they opened up a soap surprise, so they would make soaps and sell them and stuff. And so they weren't really fitting into traditional schooling. And at the time, I was a professor of psychology, and I was like, okay, this is not working out. They're always stressed out. They're not happy. They don't want to go to school. It shouldn't be like this, right? They should be excited about it. And the reality is that they wanted to learn. I think most kids have that natural curiosity if you allow that to kind of flourish, and we see this in a lot of countries around the world that the first several years of development, they actually focus on like emotional health and community building and things like that. And they're way more advanced than us educationally, right? So I think that being in that space and being an entrepreneur, I realized that if I wanted them to be able to reach their potential and really explore the things that they're passionate about, it wasn't going to happen in the box, right? I wanted to give them the freedom and flexibility to find their place, here on earth, right? And then be able to follow their passions and do what they really love. And I think that sometimes we try to take that away from people. And if we could do that at a young age and empower kids to really believe in themselves in long term, they'll be able to make a bigger impact and also be happier. So.
Yes, I love that because you have a business at 5. Going to kindergarten got to be boring. Like, you already running businesses and selling and creating. I can imagine having to go and sit in the classroom after doing that and like I know this already. Like, do you understand? I am doing figures. I am selling stuff. Okay, I'm talking about revenue at 5, and y'all are talking about ABCs. Get me out of here. No, I can imagine. I can only imagine. And Paloma, you said a mouthful yourself as far as parent engagement goes, because, like I said, that was the reason for Homeschool Your Kids, because it's like, where are the parents at? I was so surprised at open houses when we went and there was no parents. Like I taught 7th, I taught 10th, and I taught 12th. And my 7th graders, it wasn't much. I knew high school wasn't going to be much, but what really shocked me was when I went to my own child's, because my oldest went to kindergarten and first grade in traditional school. And I went to her kindergarten open house and there was like 5 parents there. I was like, wait a minute, what is this? Like they don't care here either. Like that was shocking to me. And then the conversation I had with her kindergarten teacher was like really the game changer. But parent involvement is so necessary and y'all are involved. Like you knew from out the gate that hey, nah, this isn't gonna work for mine. So let us do something different. And I love that for you guys. So how did that look? Mhm.
Like you mentioned, elementary school. I was an elementary school teacher, kindergarten as well. And you will think parents are more involved, but it's not. They are busy. Some have more than one job and they don't have the time. And schools also, they try to implement too much and they'll give that space to parents. And when they try, it becomes something else. It's not really engagement. So
yeah, no, and that's why I was gonna
elementary is a foundation. So we need those foundations to be strong.
Yes, we definitely do. And like you said, some parents are working 2, 3 jobs. Some parents are very, very busy, and it's the economy is set up that way that you have to hustle and bustle to just stay, like, look, stay here, like you ain't even up, but just to stay a little bit afloat, it makes a difference. When I don't know, like when you're able to be present,
Yep.
you know. All right, so let's talk about how your homeschooling looked. How did that look for you guys? What did you all do with this entrepreneur at 5? Like, how did y'all shape this?
For me, obviously, um, really what I did was that I used a lot of app-based learning and also community engagement. So I would look for different stuff happening in the community. I was part of different groups and stuff like that, but for the most part, we did a lot of things at home and obviously after school when the kids are out for them to be able to get that socialization. But then I really followed what they were passionate about, right? So if they were passionate about like a certain character, then we would build things around that character at that moment, right? Or if they were really into nature, which they were, then a lot of that learning happened in the nature setting. And I think, when we look at what's happening in society, whether we look at AI, robotics, automation, it's going to change people's careers drastically by the time your child right now, if you have a young child, is an adult, right? So a lot of the fields that we know and understand that exist now are not going to exist at that point, right?
Right.
And part of my other business, I'm really big into like technology and AI and stuff like that. And the reason I say that is because right now, the biggest skill that you could teach is emotional intelligence, right? And that ability to pivot and shift into what society needs at that point. So it's not just saying, oh, you got to be really good at this one thing, because that one thing might not even exist by the time they're 18 or 19, right? So for us, our main thing is teaching emotional intelligence, right? So how do you teach that those character skills? How do you teach the social emotional skills that they're going to need to thrive regardless of the environment that is created in 10 years? That's why we created a lot of the programs, whether it's our book, whether it's our parent education courses or whatever it may be, or our trainings that we do for daycares and schools, where we train teachers and how to help students develop that social emotional learning. That's been our priority because we know that's what's going to help you thrive long term.
And we do it in a way that, yes, we're teaching social emotional learning. Parents can do it at home, teachers can do it in school, and it's not something extra you have to do every day. It's something that you apply daily, little snippets here and there, and it will grow, and it becomes not just a skill, it's a life skill and a necessity eventually as well.
Nice. And I'm glad that y'all are saying that y'all are creating these programs for parents and teachers, because a lot of times we're asking to kids to do things that adults don't even do themselves,
Yep.
which is have emotional intelligence. Like you see all these crash out videos, you see all this stuff going on in the world. It's like, oh, you don't know how to handle conflict. Oh, that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's like we're asking these little people to do things that the big people around them aren't exhibiting themselves.
Yeah, we need to regulate ourselves and learn the tricks so we can teach our kids and be models. And that's the thing. We are models, like it or
Yes.
not. And society right now, with everything on TV and social, we are not role modeling the best things. It has to be intentional.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that we kind of focus on too, is the co-regulation piece. Because the reality is that as a parent, the child's always going to look at you to regulate, right? So if they see you like internally having a fit and like, you need to calm down, and, like the energy's already there, they're angry, they look like they just want to scream. Obviously the child's going to feed into that as well. So how do we regulate ourselves so we can model that? And a lot of psychology and science behind that. That a child, even at a very young age, when they hear a new noise that they're not used to, they'll look at the parent first to see how they react before they understand how they react. So if a parent laughs, the child might laugh. If the parent looks scared, the child says, "Oh, I need to be scared." There's also something called mirror neurons as well, that we actually look at our social environment and our brain processes information based on that. So even for ourselves, if we look in the mirror and we smile, our brain tells us, hey, we should be happy. We're smiling, and it actually creates chemicals to make us happy, right? So it's how do we then co-regulate in a way that is going to calm our child to then put them in the space that they can make the decisions that we want them to make.
And of course, starting with us, teachers, parents as well, caregivers, anybody. We need to learn how to say affirmations before we start a day in the classroom, or do a simple breathing exercise just to show them I can calm down so you can calm down, so we can have a conversation.
Yes, the modeling aspect is so important. It really is, because it's like you say, you got chaos going, and then you want to either add to the chaos or you want to be the
Yeah.
calm to the chaos. And I know I try to stay stoic with everything, like even if it's a bug and I don't like it. Like literally, when I had my first of all, I've never liked bugs, like any type of bug, anything. I don't care. But I knew, like, being a conscious parent, I knew if I exhibit that around her, then she was going to act that way too. So I remember this child handing me a wasp at like 18 months. She was in the back seat and I saw her playing with something in the mirror. And I'm like, yo, what you got? And I put my hand back there, like, still like, I put my hand back there and she put a wasp in my hand.
You're
And
like, oh,
I'm not gonna hold you. I freaked out. Got out the car and everything, like, oh my
That's
God.
funny.
But with understanding that they are watching, and I know she's old because she lets me know
Oh yeah.
continuously how much she wants to be like me. Like
Oh
that's
yeah.
not a doubt. Like I don't have to
Mhm.
guess if she's like watching my every move. I say, oh, anytime I'm talking around anyone and she's in the vicinity, I said, just know she's listening. Like she would pretend like she's playing with something, she'll pretend like she's doing this or something. She's still listening, okay? And she'll bring it up to me later on, like, so like, so and so said, oh my gosh. But
Yeah.
the modeling aspect is so important, and it's like parents want to what that do as I say, not as I do, or something like that. It's like, no, that doesn't make sense, love. Like
Yeah.
I said, you gotta walk it. Like if you're gonna talk it, you're gonna tell it. You gotta walk it. And I'm a firm believer of showing and not telling, because
Yeah.
it's like people don't want to be told what to do. You gotta show them. Like you gotta show them. Oh, okay, you doing it too. That's different. But just to tell
And
someone,
and again, it's a skill, and you want them to learn it. You want them to eventually do it by themselves in any setting,
yes,
not just because
yes.
I'm telling you to. It's just
Yes.
because it works. It has a reason behind it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about how far conflict resolution will go.
Mhm.
Like when people actually like as far as the emotional intelligence, just understanding, all right, this is a problem, but it doesn't have to be a huge problem. What's the
Mhm.
solution to the problem? As opposed to, oh, let me fight you, or let me shoot you, or let me
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
all this other stuff.
And I think that happens with a lot of parents that we work with is that as soon as they also understand like the development side of their child, like for example, at a very young age, the prefrontal cortex not developed, like that front part of your brain, right?
Hmm.
So they can't really reason the way that we can. And when something happens, whether it's little, their amygdala turns on, which is like that little devil, and then they get angry and stuff like that. They overreact and all those other things because that part of the brain is not fully developed, right? So for us, when we see things, a behavior, we're quickly to judge to say, okay, they're trying to be, disrespectful or whatever, instead of seeing it, okay, they're not regulating. How can I help them regulate and teach them? Not maybe at this moment, because sometimes, you have to, whether it's distract and move on or do other things to help them get grounded, or even a simple exercise like putting your hand on your chest and taking a deep breath that actually synchronizes the brain and the heart. And it actually helps bring that back, that amygdala, the little devil back down, So a simple exercise that they can do in that moment to help them regulate and then be able to, have a teachable moment. But it's understanding that it's not that the child really can't help it at times because just that part of the brain's not developed. For parents, sometimes we take things too personal. We're already overwhelmed with work, with other issues that we have, other drama that we have. So
Joel, you better say it.
yeah,
Yes.
so it's not like, what I'm saying? It's not like it's something wrong with you as a parent. It's normal. Most of
Mhm.
us are overloaded with life already, right? So, again, being able to apply those skills to ourselves will help make us happier. It will make our child happier, and which in turn then makes us even more happier because we don't have to deal with as much drama.
Yes, yes, yes. And that part that you're talking about, is that the part that's not fully developed until you're like 25 or something like that?
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, well, the amygdala,
Okay.
I mean, the prefrontal cortex, what happens, it goes through several pruning sections. They say the terrible twos or whatever it is, but it's more
Hmm.
like terrible threes. But that part of the brain actually is pruning at that point, which is creating neural networks. And then once they become teenagers, it actually stabilizes. And once they become teenagers, it starts reworking itself again. So that's why, when they become teenagers, they become a little crazy again. It's
Hmm.
because that part of the brain is
A
redeveloping
little
itself
crazy again.
again. Yeah.
That's what we call it, yes. Tad bit
Yeah.
crazy. I just call it
Yeah.
chemical imbalance. Like, yo.
Yeah.
Hormones, whatever you want to call
Whatever you
it.
call it. Obviously, there's hormonal part, but there's that part of the brain is pruning again, which is restructuring itself. So then it makes it very easy for them to be impulsive, very easy for them to get agitated, emotional, because then it's going redirecting. And actually, a lot of studies show that kids that are abused, or there's even not physically, just a lot of screaming in the household and a lot of drama in the household, that part actually doesn't develop fully. So when they become adults, they have a very short fuse, right? And that's why you see people getting road rage very easily. That's why you see people doing certain things. You're like, that was very extreme. It's because that part, the prefrontal lobe, doesn't fully develop.
Yes, a lot of things, because the internet be internet, and then you be seeing a lot of things now. Now I'm still a I'm not gonna share that. No, I will. I'll still watch World Star. Like that's my news. And just the stuff that people be doing, it's just like, how did we get here? Like I always want to know the backstory. Like what made you that mad? And it's just, oh, and then that whole phrase of the crash out now, it's like everybody's normalizing being upset. Like, why do you want to be upset? Why are y'all walking around waiting for somebody to trigger you? And it's like, that's it. It's like, okay, no, when you recognize you got a trigger, you're supposed to be working on that trigger, like not like letting people trigger it. And then you,
Yeah.
yeah, and then you get in with a mug shot. Like, no, that's not the goal, love. Like, what are we doing here? So I love that we're having this conversation because I had to, okay, so Roblox, I know the game Roblox.
Mhm.
I had to stop my girls from playing some game called Baddies up there. It was a game that simulated them fighting. Like that was the whole premise. It was like they're walking around finding other people to snatch their wigs and do all this stuff. And I'm listening to them. I'm like, yo, what is that? And then when I saw it, I said, oh yeah, no, you can't play that anymore. So like, what in the world? Like, I just we're not about to be in pretend world fighting people, and that's all you're doing is fighting. It's like, why are you doing that? But that's an actual game, and I think it goes off of the show Baddies. Like, they have and I used to watch Bad Girls Club growing up. I did. However, I've never been in a fight. Like, I've never, like, as I used to tell my students, there's nobody I have had issues with that much for me to risk my face. I said, I like my face, y'all, and I don't want anything happening to it. So, like, because people would be crashing out behind people that they don't even know their last name. It's like you don't even know them. What? How are you risking it all for somebody who you won't even see again, or yet this is temporary. So I don't know. We're in a funny time of
Yeah, we're in a DNA age that kids are trying to get attention, but not the right
mm,
attention. Because social media out there, they have the influencers. We have good influencers, but we have a bunch that are not the greatest. And sadly, the kids tend to go to the naughty and the good ones. And that's something that we need to do as parents and have conversations. So that's a piece of technology that we have to talk about and bring back and keep in front and tag it every single day or every so often because we don't want them to get lost or switch from one side to the other in the meaning of saying, yes, it's easier to be the bad, or how you say it, the bad, and it's harder to be the good one. Those are the ones that get bullied and all that. The other one get attention, but it's not okay. It's a fine line.
yes, yes, I do. I totally agree. I know my oldest, she's 11. And when we go to New York, she feels like she has to put on like a tough persona. Like, oh, we in Brooklyn, so I gotta do this. Like, I gotta act like this. Mom, we're in Brooklyn. I'm like, girl, you okay? Like, you can still smile. You can still be, it's just I get it. It's a defense mechanism, and you do need defense in this world, sadly, because everyone is not will be on the up and up or be as friendly as you would like them to be. But
Mm.
I'm a proponent. I feel like you get the energy you give. So I don't have beef with anybody. I don't have beef. But I also walk around smiling and laughing and like hey, how are you? And I speak to everyone, and so I just expect the same energy back. Like I told you, we're
Yeah.
in Mississippi, and for the longest I wouldn't stop in Mississippi because I didn't know what to expect from Mississippi. This is before, like, a long time ago, like just passing through. Like, huh, I'm gonna just keep passing through because I heard y'all don't like colors down there, so I'm gonna keep passing through. But we took we did a big gusto this year and hosted an event in Jackson. And when I tell you we received nothing but love here ever since we've been here. We've been here over a week now. Almost going, yeah, a week and a half. Um, it's been all love. And I'm just like, oh, see, I was running from this and now I'm about to be an advocate for it. Yeah, no, stop in Mississippi. It's good, y'all. It is good. Stop there. But I don't know. I love what you all are doing. And I know you have your business called Inspire, Guide, and Nurture. Let's talk about that. What shaped that and what is that? Because I love all three of those words. Go ahead.
Well, first, I just want to point out that I don't know if you know how much of a blessing you are to the world,
Oh,
just being you, right? And
thank
what you're
you.
doing and what your smile and what your energy. It's a lot of studies that show like if somebody sees someone doing a good deed or just their energy, it actually impacts the other person, even if you're at a distance, impacts them emotionally, like chemically and all those different things. So just with your bubbly energy and going around, and obviously you do a lot to try to put parents together and give resources to families to be able to grow and develop. So you probably don't hear enough, but we are grateful for
Uh,
what you bring to the world. So
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I likewise, like I always
mhm,
love these conversations are everything because it's so beautiful to see people on the same mission. It's like y'all
mhm.
are creating resources and making sure that parents are supported. And that's what it's all about. It's like we're not supposed to do this alone. We need
Oh
each
yeah.
other. So thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for that. But I appreciate you as
Yeah.
well.
Thank you. And I think, culturally, I think that's where we've shifted as well. And we see that all over the world where there's a
Mhm.
community based growth in South. Like I grew up in Puerto Rico. We both grew up in Puerto Rico, where it's your neighbors help with that growth process. It's like they help with the teaching, they help with the accountability, they help with all those different things. So, I grew up eating just as much food in my neighbors' houses than I did in my house, right? And then,
Yes.
or my dad would be cooking something, and the neighbor would come over and eat, and all the kids knew each other, and it was like this community based learning in many ways.
I love
So
it.
the things that you did also impacted your community in a lot of ways. So there's a shift there, and I think that especially when you're homeschooling, it's important to have that community-based learning where you develop those resources around you, where you have different things that you're a part of. That's not going to only help you grow as an adult, which then helps your child, but then also gives you the tools to then be able to guide better. Because I think as a parent, we all are guides, right? Um,
And teachers as well.
yeah,
We
Yes.
can, in the
Yes.
classroom, we can try to deliver the lessons as much as we can, but we're guiding them. We cannot make them learn.
You cannot. Well, I taught English, so I know you cannot make the kids read. You cannot make them write. You cannot make them do anything. Okay,
Yeah.
nothing that they don't want to do. But they
yeah.
will do it for you if you have a relationship with them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
If they
exactly.
love you, if they rock with you, oh, they'll work for you then. But if they don't
Oh, yeah.
like you, then you can cancel that.
Yeah. And it is true. And that's why one of the things and one of the trainings we have it's community building before classroom management or before management at home. You have to have that communication, that rapport before you can actually be a teacher, a guide, so it can really run smoothly.
Yeah.
And I will say, because y'all say y'all from Puerto Rico, I had some Puerto Rican neighbors back in when I was in high school, and I was struggling through Spanish, right? And mind you, let me put this out too. Bilingual individuals are not credited enough for how smart y'all are. Like I feel like if you know how to switch between two languages, like your mind is beyond. And I love that you all are in this field and you are doing what you're doing because I want you to always up your people because
Mhm.
I've had conversations. We live in Phoenix, so I come across a bunch of bilingual individuals, but they're like, "Oh, I can't homeschool." Like, they don't think that they have the. And I'm like, "Yo, you switch between two languages while you're talking. Like, yes, you can homeschool, please." And you probably need to teach me because I still don't know Spanish. I took a whole bunch of Spanish and I still don't know. But my Puerto Rican neighbor used to tell my mom, like, "Oh, just send her over here for." Her name was Australia. We called her Star. She's like, "Send her over here for a couple of weeks. She'll be speaking Spanish." And my mom never took her up on that, but she should have. I should have went over there because now I still don't know Spanish. And now I live like, in little Mexico. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? I don't know it. And I wish I would have known, like, if we could have Raven some like, that's so Raven, flash forward into the future and be like, oh, you could have lived in Arizona one day. You should take Spanish seriously. I didn't. Like I was being made to do it. When I tell you, okay, I took 2 years of high school Spanish. I got kicked out in Spanish 3 because she was like, oh, she doesn't know anything. She's not, yeah, no, I cheated my way to Spanish 3, okay? And then I had to go to college and take 2 more semesters. And I made it through that, but I still know, yo no sé, cómo está. Like the real basics. Me and my 8-year-old on the same level. We be doing Duolingo together. But okay, that's me and my attention span. But just
But
know
it's
that
true. You
yes,
use it, you don't use it, you lose it. And even for my
Yes.
kids, my like I said, we both from Puerto Rico. My kids,
Hmm.
they came to United. My daughter came to the United States. She was 3, but at home we only speak Spanish. So
Mm.
they when they went to school, they didn't know English. So they put them in an ESL program. I'm like,
Okay.
no, she's gonna go to regular. And they didn't have the bilingual program yet in that district where she was going to school. So my job was to make sure she's learning the English, the basics, so she can deal with school, but keep the Spanish at home. And it's a struggle because they are around people speaking English 24/7. And it's me, mom, making me speak Spanish at home and all that. But once they're older now, at 25, they say thank you because they
Yes.
have a job and they use your language, you know?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's a benefit. But I will say, I will send my kids sometimes to Puerto Rico to my parents for a summer because I was doing an internship or a study. I will ship them out in a good way to grandparents, to grandparents, and they will speak only Spanish. So they will come fluent. That summer, they will become fluent.
Yes. I see.
So
I
it
love
takes a
that.
village.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it takes a village, like you mentioned before. It wasn't only me at home. It's being emerged in Puerto Rico. My parents doing the work because they know English, but they knew I wanted them and we wanted them to speak Spanish as well. Because we have family that they don't know that language. So
Yes.
we want to
That
be able to
immersion is important.
Mhm.
Being immersed in it, I think, because I feel like during our time now, because we've only been in Arizona, I think 4 years now. But during that time, like the girls, like they have a little something. We don't haven't had any formal class besides Duolingo. But like we like, it's like, okay, I'm catching on. Like, and that's why I be sitting back and
We
I
pick
just
up.
listen. They talk so fast. Like, it's like just slow down a little bit. I caught that. I caught this. Like, just slow down a little bit for me. But I just feel like bilingual individuals don't get enough recognition or self-recognition within themselves to understand like y'all are dope. Y'all that's so dope to be able to do that. Especially like mid conversations, like and then like oh my gosh, you're awesome. Like you're very smart. That's the main point of this is to say you are way smarter than I feel you give yourself credit for. Not you yourselves. Like y'all know y'all are awesome. But I'm just saying in general, if you listen to this and you're bilingual, understand like yes, you have the capabilities of homeschooling your kids. Like you please understand that I don't even know what kind of switch that is in your brain. I don't have it. Okay. I don't have it.
And that's something just to also is that we want eventually would eventually we're working on it, trying to do the resources and trainings in Spanish as well, so we can reach that community
Yes.
and bridge that
Yes.
gap as well.
Yes, because I know my ESL students, they struggle so much and they essentially like just sat in the back of the classroom and just checked out. Like, they're like, oh, I don't understand this. And some of them did understand way more than they let on, but they would play the game of, oh no, I don't know. I don't know. Like, okay,
Just give
Jose,
me a
you
grade.
you know what I'm saying. Yes, exactly. It's like, just give me a grade, get me out of here. Like, okay, guys. Okay, you're right. But yes, thank you. Thank you for doing that. Because I am trying to figure out how to incorporate more into the homeschool expos and everything because I do have you saw in Florida that's all that came to our Miami expo was Spanish speaking families. So I was happy y'all were there.
Yeah, and what's
But
interesting,
yes,
and
go ahead.
obviously for us, one of the resources that we have um, is a child book, for anger, basically social emotional learning, but it's based on anger, like how to deal with anger. And Emma goes through this journey of learning certain skills uh, to deal with anger that she created. And then it has like a 7-day lesson plan where parents can incorporate activities and fun things. So, it kind of reinforces the lesson learned. So it's not just a book that you read one time for your child. You're like, oh yeah, look at Emma's journey, blah, blah, blah. It's more like, okay, let's read this every night, possibly, right? And I used to do that with my child when I was homeschooling. I would get books on social emotional learning or books on specific topics that I knew they were struggling with at that moment. And then we would read them every night and have a journey with that, and then try to develop things around that. So she's made it easier for parents because then they have the lesson plan. But part of that, like what you're saying, is the Spanish and English, the Spanish version, when you did the expo in Miami. That's the one that most families were looking for because they don't have that many resources in Spanish that would help
Yeah,
them teach those skills, and they want to teach those skills as well. So,
I love
And
that. So tell us
in
more about
creating a lesson
Inspire. Mhm.
in creating the lesson plans, because we know that parents have to and teachers have to meet certain goals like science, math. We integrated those social emotional skills into science. We integrate it into math. You can embed it in
Into
science,
everything.
So yes, in language arts. So it's not just I'm just teaching it separate. I can embed it.
mhm.
Nice. And okay, so Inspire, Guide, Nurture. Like, tell us more. Tell us more.
So obviously we have the book, the learning series there. We've worked with several different daycares and schools as well, doing teacher trainings and things of that sort, because obviously it starts there, to help then, facilitate that community building so they can start like this year. We're partnering with some schools to give them the foundation moving forward. And sometimes we'll work on a monthly basis there. We are part of Step Up. I know that some of your families, especially in Florida, deal with Step Up. So we are part of that, some of those resources. We also have, for example, a parent course that parents could take, teaching social emotional learning skills. It's not, I know parents are short in time for the most part. So it's a shorter course, but then it also has all the resources that they can do to implement at home and for themselves within that activity. And then we have other different resources, whether it's for educator and also for parents as well.
Yeah, we have a toolkit that will teach that you can use activities that you can use with Emma with a book, or you can use it independently and activities that you can do at home for regulation as well. Also, we have a kit. It's like for mindfulness techniques, which is teaching you from chair yoga, floor yoga, standing yoga, but it also gives you guided visualizations that we don't do enough anymore. And you can do it sitting on a desk. You can do it laying down the floor at home, or you can do it a quick visualization just sitting on the table. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to breathe, and we're going to do a visualization. Simple. We have affirmation cards. So there are activities that you can incorporate at any moment. You can have it in a box, or you can, if you're at home, and take it out however you want, or you can have it in the classroom and you can stick it on the wall. I used to do that. I will have a yoga mat, stick Mondays I will teach 3 yoga poses as a whole group, and then stick it on the wall. When you need it, you go there. You need regulation, go do some yoga. I will have it open. So it's like you need it, it's there for a reason. It's not always being in the book or writing or coloring or writing my name, learning math. You need it. If it's not group time, you go take care of yourself. So we need that also at home. And it's creating the calm space and having tools for them to regulate. But not also for the kids. We need our own space as well.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have in our social some information and our blog. It's talking about that, how to create calm for us as adults. Even if you work at home doing homeschool, you have a work in an office, a teacher, you can have and find a couple minutes to calm yourself. It doesn't have to be a spa day or anything. It can be something simple.
Yep. And actually, it was interesting. I working with homeschooling families, is that a lot of homeschooling families want to focus on like, okay, I need to really drill down on this math or this science or whatever it is, right? But one thing that's so key is the social emotional part, right? Even to the point, obviously, in my other company, I work with Fortune 500 companies, and my top selling course and the top selling thing that they look at, those Fortune 500, is the emotional intelligence side, emotional intelligence training. And a lot of companies now are not even looking for degrees. You look at Google, you look at, all these tech companies, they want to see one that you have certain skill sets, but one of the top things that they're looking at is the emotional intelligence in those individuals, because all the other skills can be trained into a person, right? But if they lack emotional intelligence skills, that can't be, right. That's not something that you can easily learn as an
Yes.
adult. Later on you can, and it takes work, and that's why they do the trainings, but it's not the same thing. They'd rather have someone that has a growth mindset, that they know that they can learn certain skills, and at the same time be emotionally mature enough to be able to handle some of the stress, to be able to know how to be able to collaborate with other people. So basically, again, that's what we're kind of focusing on, so we can start them earlier, so that way they can thrive as adults. So like she said, there's a blog that people can get some resources there. There's the uh,
Conscious parenting,
conscious parenting course,
training. Yeah.
trainings, the book. There's several different things, whether it's just having like, materials like the toolkit for them to be able to implement in their child's life and even theirs, right? So whatever they're learning, you're learning as well, right? So at the same time, it becomes like this loop, right? And I used to work with, for example, the Nurturing Fathers program. And it's interesting because you would have all these fathers in. Some of them just got out of jail, right? And then you would have other parents that were like lawyers in the community. So you'd have this weird bunch, but they all have to be there for some reason, right? Some of them were volunteer, but I would say 90% of them, the court said, hey, you need to go to the, fathers program. And what's interesting is that they would all, close your eyes in the first one. Everyone's kind of complaining, yeah, I've got to be here because of this, whatever. That third week, most fathers are crying.
Looking forward to it. Yes.
And they're crying, they're getting emotional. They're like, I can't believe like the impact that I was having on my child. And I also worked as an investigator for the state of Florida, right? With DCF. And then and that's what helped me shift into out of that, because I would see that, okay, I'm removing this child, but that child, the parent, they were removed by DCF because of the children, right? So we have this big line society that we are not our parents, right? But we're following that cycle over and over and over again. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to give the parents the tools that they need to grow and help their children grow so they can be better people moving forward.
And we don't only do it with the trainings, but we offer one-on-one coaching if they're interested. So it can be more personal, one-on-one, based on your needs.
This is everything. Like y'all are doing that because the parents, like that's what that's the key piece. Like you can't escape the parents. It's like even when your child is in traditional school, the student still has to go back home, and they're going to be in whatever environment they're in. That's why I talk about like why there should be a bridge between the home and the school. But the parents is everything, and we don't get a manual when we have these babies. They just give you some diapers, a couple things of formula, and they send you on your way. Like, go figure it out. And it's like, it's like it's trial and error. And so I think survival will go and take you to, okay, well, this is what I know. This is how I seen my parents do it. This is what, like, and like I always had a conversation because people talk, the whole whooping your kids, beating your kids, whatever you want to call it. I always talk to parents about that. Not like on here or anything or formally, but I always ask, well, how much did it work if they had to keep doing it? Like if your parents had to keep whooping you, how well did it work? It's like, because, I was whooped and da-da-da-da. Like, man, my parents used to do this and this. It's like, okay, well, you're talking about more than one instance. So did it work? Like, it doesn't sound like it worked. But that's what they know, and that's what they're going to go to. And what you said earlier, Joelle, is what I always want parents to think about. When you're whooping a child, they're not just receiving what it is that they did. They're receiving punishment for your boss that you can't hit. They're receiving punishment for that person that cuts you off in traffic.
Yeah, your baggage.
Yeah, all of it. And you're taking it out on this little person. So that's something I always want parents to think about. By all means, you're going to discipline your child how you want to discipline them. But just know that baby's not receiving just what they did. They receiving it for everybody who you can't hit or you can't put hands on. So just think about that. But I always say, how successful is whooping if you had to keep getting whooped? I just don't think it's successful. I just don't know. I don't know. Yeah, prove me wrong. I don't know.
And it takes a parent say, oh, I did it. I know I got the same treatment growing up. How can I change it? Because I don't want to do that again.
Yeah. Even with how you talk to them. how you talk
You
to your
have to have that
child.
mindset. You have to want it too, because it's not, oh, I'm not going to do it again. No, you have to actually own it. And like you said, trial and error. And you're going to make mistakes, but you're going to continue doing your best to get better,
Yes.
not to
Yes.
bring those things that didn't work for you.
I know right now the trend is the breaking the cycles, and I love that. Breaking generational cycles, keep breaking them, people. Keep challenging it. Keep on saying, you know what? This made me feel like this, and I don't want my child to feel like that. And that's the main thing. Like I up my babies all the time. Like they will never hear me talking down on them, and they know that. And I get on them when I hear them talking. I'm just like, no, because she's gonna carry that. I know because I'm still dealing with my trauma. Look,
Yeah.
don't put that on her. Don't joke. I know it's just, oh, we're just joking, mom. We're just, no, jokes hurt. Okay. Jokes hurt and
Yeah.
jokes are carried. And I just think about the things that I heard, and I always say, like, that's why I never got into a fight when I was growing up, because it's like the things I heard from people that I loved, like, that I care for to the fullest, parents and siblings and everyone else, they hurt me way worse with their words than anyone who I didn't know could hurt me, because it's like, yo, these people I know, we got the same blood. Like,
Yeah.
like by all means, their words mean a lot to me. So if I
Yeah.
can live through their words without putting hands on them or, crashing out, all that, whatever, then yeah, your words don't really matter to me. But I just know how important words are. I don't care what
Yeah.
people say, that whole sticks and stones may break your bones, but words, yes, the words hurt. The words not only hurt, but you carry them. Like they stay with
Exactly.
you for the
And
longest.
the thing is that a way that I used to, I remember I was kindergarten teacher. That one way to make a visual for my kids, I will get toothpaste. And I say,
Mm.
remember, think about this toothpaste. It's coming out. It has a little hole. So every time I say a bad word, do something wrong, say something mean, it's coming out like the toothpaste. And I will squeeze and squeeze and squeeze it. They will share. And I say, okay, but I can say sorry, but can I put that toothpaste back?
I like that.
Let's try it.
Yes.
So they like, no. So like, we will try. Like, what tool can we use? But it's hard because that means it's hard to repair. It's already out.
Yes.
The damage is done. We can try repairing it, but it's not going straight back in. So it's a visual, and it's, as a adult, you can spill as much as you want, but it's that repair. How you're going to try to repair it. And it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to go back into that tube 100%.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
And I was going to say also an interesting factor, and I love that analogy. And one thing I love about her is that a lot of things that she creates, and even like as parents, we forget to bring out our inner child.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I love about her is that she's very good at bringing that inner child. And we have a blessing that we have a child that gives us our curiosity, right? Because we forget about that curiosity with the simple things of life, right? So it's like, how do we bring that out about ourselves? See the blessing that we have someone that's modeling that aspect that we lost because our society, like, got us doom scrolling on TikTok or something, right? So then we stop being aware of our environment. How can we be present just like they're trying to be present? One thing I just want to add real quick is, like, growing up statistically, we hear 30 negatives for each positive, right? So when I used to work with elementary schools, I used to work with what they would call the problem children, right? So I would go into different schools, and obviously my background's counseling. So I would go and just work with them, and the teachers and principals would ask me, what are you doing with them? That all of a sudden, like, they want to do the teamwork, they're listening, they're doing all these great things. The only thing I would do with them for an hour is I would sit under a table and we would tell stories, and I was affirming the amazing person that they were. Yeah. So you're such a good team worker. That was so smart of you. I love how you did this. I didn't do anything negative. So I was trying to build up those positive versus those negatives. So when they got in the classroom, they start to see themselves differently. What they were told by their parents that they were told by their teachers, by everyone else in society that was already helping them identify in a very negative way. So when we talk to our children, we have to be very careful not to focus on, like, you are this, like this behavior, right? Because we don't want them to identify with being problematic. We don't want them to identify with not being smart, not being capable, not being like loving or whatever it may be. Just that specific behavior. because then we could teach them what they need to change instead of just telling them this is who you are.
And we can then take one step forward. You have a problem. How can we problem solve in a good way? Even if it's somebody telling you something using your words, or you're feeling frustrated in math, what can you do to practice more? Where can you find time? How can you ask your teacher or your parent? I'm struggling. Can we recap? Can we do this again? It's finding the words, because some kids they don't want to say I don't get it. And I'll just hide. I will fail because they don't want to use the words, because they feel like, oh, I'm dumb. They're gonna feel offended. They're gonna get mad at me. No, it's okay. And we have to, as parents and teachers and adults, we have to celebrate mistakes. I used to have a wall. Every teacher has a wall that it's like, oh, great work. My kids will pick their work, even if it's like not coloring, not perfect, but you're proud of your work. It's going up there. And we celebrate mistakes because that's where we learn from. I will make mistakes on purpose, and I'm like, oh, I caught myself, because it's modeling. We go back to modeling. It's okay to make mistakes. We're here to learn. We're all different. We all look different. We learn at a different pace, and it's okay. This is a safe place to do it, So we go back to that modeling.
And I think a lot of parents, sometimes we're kind of ashamed to have our kids see us cry or see us get emotional or even express, I'm just having a hard day, I'm frustrated, and not realizing that we're actually modeling that communication with our children, right? We want to say, Mom, I'm frustrated right now. Mom, I'm sad. I'm having a hard day. And sometimes, again, we come back to saying, you're so difficult, or whatever it is. And we just said in the moment, we didn't even think about it, but it's like we just scarred them, right? And then the more we do in it, we're scarring them just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more.
And at that moment, it's catching yourself and trying to go back and repair.
Yeah. So it's okay to say, I said this and this is not what I meant. I was frustrated and I didn't handle it right. So to help them know it's okay to apologize. It's okay for them to understand that sometimes out of frustration, you do things, and that you can, step up and be like, okay, this is what I should have done and I didn't do it. So let's learn from this.
I messed up. I didn't see it that way. I know I messed up. I'm sorry. Because a lot of people, they don't know how to say I'm sorry. They don't want to accept they are wrong. So it's okay to say sorry. It's okay to be wrong. We're learning, right? Even with my 19-year-old, I had a conversation yesterday, and he didn't see it again. You remember that part of the brain? He did something impulsive. He didn't think it was something big. And I said, look, it's not big. You just need to communicate. And we never had a problem. I'm not mad. We just need to communicate. So he said, Mom, you're right. So, and it took me a while, because I was the type of person, I was in a relationship that I had to hold everything on in, and I had to be the strong person in the household. And when I got out of that relationship, I had to reteach myself and my kids, it's okay. We came out of this and we have to talk about it. We need to repair. And we did it as a family. Well, me and my kids, a small family. But it took a while for my son to be able to communicate, because he learned from me that I'm going to save everything inside. And if I explode, I explode. So it took me to that journey of repairing. Of course, it's not you don't do it in one day or a week, but it's doable. If we want it, it's doable. Mm-hmm. So yes. That's a reason that we all need some help at some point. So
Unlearning and
Never.
relearning. We are unlearning and relearning. And I love that. I love everything that y'all are doing. I love how this conversation has went because I definitely know that we have given a lot of food for thought. A lot of, because y'all have me over here like, yes, like, I'm not gonna cry. But yes, no, it is it's a big thing. Because we are trying to do different. A lot of us grew up in structures or grew up around people who did not pour into us. And so with that, especially with homeschool families, like, most of us are first generation homeschoolers. So it's like, oh, you already, setting a different course. And to hear my girls talk and the stuff they talk about, and I'm just like, okay, girl, you got it. Because I tell people, if nothing else, my girls wake up laughing and they go to bed laughing. And that's my confirmation of I'm doing something good. Like that's like, okay, I got this, y'all. Like I don't forget everything else. Like, we're worried about the algebra later. Worry about that later. I know that my girls, as far as emotionally, they're able to express, they're able to communicate with me without having a fear of me like, yeah, what? Da, da, da. I'm proud of myself. Like I will say
Yeah.
that I'm proud of myself because I could be way different. I could definitely be way different. And that's why I always say, like, please know that this took a lot of work. And that's why I respect everything that y'all are pouring out into these parents, because that's where it starts. Like, we have to be the game changers. We have to be the ones to do different. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have two more things before you go, though. Two more. And we started a little late, so that's why I got y'all a little late. But okay, one, with all that you do and with all of the emotional intelligence and all the programs y'all have created, the books you have written, the parenting you're still doing, how do you self-care?
Well, for me, I'm a water bug and nature. So for me, I zen out. We both like to snorkel, so we snorkel, go to the beach, or just be in nature and be grounded. Obviously, disconnect from the tech and just be able to breathe for a little bit, right? Both like to dance. We laugh a lot. Uh, we're pretty lighthearted people. So in that sense, we just try to be present in the moment, and that's for me my zen. Like as soon as I'm in nature, like I put my feet on sand, I'm like, yeah, it's
Breathe
like
easy.
you breathe easy, yeah. So
Yeah, you transport. And we do a thing that we try, like, okay, we're gonna take a break, no technology. Like it's gonna be ringing, and if, we will know if one of our kids is texting us, and of course that will break our time. Because, but if it's not an emergency, it's our time. It's a me time,
Nice.
you know. So we
Yeah.
do me time, and of course we do it every day. We try to do me time, but of course we take our longer me time when we go dancing.
Nice. Yes, yes. All right. And if parents didn't hear anything else from each of you, I need three things that you want them to leave this conversation with. Like, if you don't hear anything else, please know this or please take this with you.
so for me, I would want them to remind them that they don't have to be perfect,
Mm.
right? I think that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and that pressure then puts pressure on our children because we don't feel like we're good enough, we're not doing enough, maybe we're failing them in some way. And just to remind themselves that they're a blessing, even if they're listening to this, it really shows that they're trying to grow as people to make an impact in their child's lives, right? So that in itself deserves a high five, right? That in itself deserves like a happy dance or something to let them know you're doing it. You might not feel as perfect, but you're doing it, right? So it's reminding themselves that, and that's one thing I want to go away with. Um, and then I don't know if you want to add something to that.
Yeah, I wanted to add that they don't have to do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, they're out there. There's a lot of resources. You have resources. We have resources, and if you need one-on-one, we have the coaching. We can have a conversation and decide what is best for you. You can take a course. We have a one that it's assured that it's free, or you can take the other one that it's more in depth. So there are resources out there, and if you're looking, you can find products, you can find things, and it's a sign that you want to grow.
Yeah.
And not for yourself, for your kids.
Yeah. And I would say too, is that regardless if it's through us or someone else, whatever they feel aligns with them and their parenting, is to do focus on emotional intelligence, because that is the best gift that they can give their child. Both the interpersonal intelligence to be able to relate to other people, to be able to empathize with other people, and also the intrapersonal intelligence where they can reflect within themselves. Okay, why did I feel like this? What's triggering me? How can I become a better person? Or how can I really understand myself to know what my passions are, what my purpose is in this life, and all those different things. To be able to sit back and say, okay, something's off. What can I do to shift this in my life, right? So to be able to learn those skills, I think in homeschooling, sometimes I see it, but I don't see it enough, where a parent could say, this is one of the number one skills that I need to be teaching my child.
Foundation skills.
Yep. So whether it's through us or through someone else, I deeply encourage parents to leave this and see this is important. This is something I want to focus on. And I also just want to share one thing. And one of the reasons you asked me at first is what triggered me to homeschool. It was because my child was sent to the office because the teacher was screaming at the kids, right? And my child got up and said, I understand you're frustrated, and I know that we're kids, but how would you feel if somebody was talking to you this way and screaming at you?
Yeah.
So they got sent to the office. And when the principal told me what happened, when the teacher told me what happened, I looked at them and said, so do you want me to punish them? Because they're trying to remind you that even though they're children, they also have feelings and are impacted by the way that you treat them, right? So at that point, I was like, okay, he does not fit in this environment, right? So that was my calling card that planned to see, okay, maybe I need to look for alternatives here. So the last thing is that we would love to be that, the organization as individuals to support those families. And if we can help in any way, like she said, there's free coaching. She does one-on-ones. There's free classes that they could take from us. There's resources that we have on our website. And we just want to leave here a better world than we found it. So.
I love that. Paloma, I still need 2 more from you.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you have one child that it's homeschool and one child that it's not. It's what the child needs, because maybe you have a social butterfly that flourish better in school and in structure, but maybe you have one that does better in homeschool setting, and it's okay. There's not a cookie cutter way to do things, and even if you switch one year and the other one, that's okay. Parents need to understand it's okay. It's not, I put in public school, oh my God, I have to wait till they hit this grade level. No, it's okay. So
yes,
understanding how really homeschool and education goes with your child. It's like we say Montessori, follow the child, not a curriculum, not a program, follow the child. And if you have more than one, it can be different for both of them. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you don't forget your self-care. That's important.
Yes. All right.
Adults,
yes.
we need that. We need that. It's locking yourself in the bathroom and having that hot shower. They can scream. Make sure they're fed. They can handle it. Take the hot shower. Relax. Take your time. Put some music. Disconnect. That's a key.
Indeed. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all are a gem to the world, and I'm so happy that y'all have created all that you have, and that y'all are working with these parents. So, like I said, we don't get manuals to these little people that we get sent home with, and it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And y'all have some answers for them, big answers, and I appreciate that. So, inspire, nurture, guide. Inspire, guide, nurture. I did
Inspire, guide, nurture.
I'm sorry, I switched it around. But yes, Inspire, Guide, Nurture. Definitely check them out. All links will be in the description. But I don't think I need to add to that. So, homeschool your kids.
Yeah.